that are going on are total BS. Some of them, though, are concerned about it. And my biggest issue is, especially some of the BS issues, people are like, well, this issue is BS, so why don't you address it? And it's like, if I address it, though, there was a non BS issue, like a huge issue that we, the internet, still don't know about that might come out. I find this is especially true in, again, like those sort of in industries. Um, like I don't care enough. Like again, if you're like, we want you to do this or you quit, and you're like, I think I'll quit. It becomes difficult for you to be controlled in the industry, and I'm enough of a nerd, and I have a skill set that allows me to sort of exist if I have to and be apolitical in places. But if I was to like say I'm going to make my show, like I'm going to make the next Breaking Bad, I inevitably speaking that I would have to get a lot of dirt on me. Um, I still feel like, to just explain like something that I actually had to do. Uh, I had like I've had to sue people, I've had to fire people, and I've had to execute my authority, like to do particularly bad things to make a production succeed. And am 100% sure that for this Fine Young Capitalist project, for whichever game that wins, I will have to do things that people don't agree with. And the thing is that's my job. And if the game's still good, but there's some people that hate me that I can't do it again, it's kind of like, well, then screw you, I'm going home, and we're going to get somebody else to pull the idea. Yes, I had to execute people. Yeah, yeah. The I did have to. Again, I do remember. By the way, just a hint to anybody: never ever threaten legal action. Just politely ask them how to get in contact with their lawyer on an issue. Um, the problem with lawyers is it's basically like setting money on fire, and the first one who comes to their sense first loses. I felt more that when you're polite and you're explaining that, like, right now you can still talk about this thing. If you don't talk to us about it, um, we will rain fire, hellfire upon you, and destroy both destroy ourselves in the process. When you're at that point in the conversation, things are very difficult. TFYC, I have no discernible skills. What should I do? You should definitely get into producing of television. There seems to be a volume of people there. I actually tend to think that people who don't have skills, if they haven't like been killed yet or starved to death, tend to be actually good at discussing things with people and getting people to do things that they don't normally do. And ironically speaking, those skills are very valuable in sales positions, in producing positions, and in communication positions. So I would definitely, if you feel that way and you haven't starved to death, then you might want to consider those jobs. Some of them have actually said like the whole issue is like they talked to me personally before and they talked to us what it's about, and it's difficult to say this without sounding really bitter, but social people who are really like the social justice warriors don't actually do things. So by actually like doing the game, you inevitably self-select to people that have more flexible policies. So they actually feel like I feel like some of them are okay, but keep in mind, as I said, like not again, everything isn't fucking rainbows. Some people feel like, and some people wanted a lot more revisions. So some people are happy with the prototype that they have, but they know that when they get more money, they're going to redo some of the art assets, especially. And we're fine with that. They just want it to look, have the same idea, but be better. But as I said, one particular contestant, I think, is she's the most neutral of them all. She still likes it. She still wants to get her game, and she still enjoyed the process. But I think just from like how many revisions we had to do and how we didn't get what she wanted to do on the first try, I think she's just like neutral. And if another group was to offer her the same thing, she wouldn't, basically jump out of the plane holding, giving us the middle finger, but she might say, I think I'd like to try these guys and see what they're about. And unfortunately, that's business, that's life. Publishing the games. Do you think a journalist and a game dev living in the same house and a journalist publishing uh, about the same games is a major? Okay, so this is basically, do you think people that have relationships should be, that are outside the business relationship should also involve a business relationship? And my answer actually to that is yes, as long as you're honest with it. I feel that the valid criticism here is um, that some people didn't appear to be honest with it. My thing though is like there is a lot of gray things. So like offhandedly mentioning a game just because it's in your state of consciousness because you know the person isn't necessarily bad. By the same token, let's not go into the scandal of he who would not be named. But I thought Giant Bomb took a really good stance in not covering Bastion, and I thought that was quite powerful for the industry. And as somebody who's worked in like media, I'm like, that's ballsy, guys, because I've already know tons of people who have just done it. I do feel though that especially believe it or not, Washington news and political news is horrendous for this. Uh, but like because we allow women to do with whatever they want with their bodies, having sex for a story is the same as bribing for a story, and you should never pretend that it's not. And I think that if you have a relationship with the person, or if there is an actual conflict of interest, you should disclose that. But I can't comment on, again, on the specific scandal of he will not be named, because I would literally have to spend days going over each individual article, and some of the articles I do feel they are being she is being considered unfairly. By the same token, from my experience in the industry, it wouldn't be surprised if I find one that's like, and now I have lost all faith that this was a misunderstanding. Do you ever have things people are saying based in waifus? Do you ever know half the things people are saying, like based and waif? The internet allows us to look them up. I had to explain to Samantha like many of the terminologies that were being used because she's never involved in this world. Uh, the people in Colombia are actually excited because a lot of them were like, again, it was like V's on board and we know what V is. And it's like, that's like a celebrity that they know. That would be akin to a celebrity speaking up for the production. And that's like, yay to them. And they're a little bit better with the language. But again, only thank you for contacting Indiegogo support. We've received your message and we're doing nothing. Boo! I can't name the person who would be named, but I do think that there should be fair legal ramifications. There, like you should actually legislate it, if for no other reason than public health and for the safety of the women involved. And my line about that, if we were like legislating everything else, like having a hot dog stand, then yeah, we should probably be legislating prostitution. I don't think Indiegogo is refused. I think they're all asleep at the wheel. Okay, so living without each other, as I said, that was a really valid question. More messages below. Mm-hmm. Look at no Indigo. It's oh, why do they like Marxism? Oh God. Okay. Marxism. Uh, so like Barkey, Sandra Barkey discusses this as well on why are they so affluent at why are they so focused on destroying capitalism? The main way that women tend to come to power is for there to be a social group and them to control the social group. So, like for the fine young capitalists, I am the leader. Like, I can tell Lola, I can override Lola, I can override Samantha. I am the leader. Women tend not to be liked in that, like to actually be seen as that, as it limits their power and it gives them a lot of criticism. So things like communism, where it's like everybody can do everything together and I can be the social bee that sort of controls it all, is a really popular idea. It's important when I'm talking about the fine young capitalists. It's still like the game is open source. A lot of our art will be licensed. When we're selling it, we're monetizing lazy people who aren't willing to take all of those steps. We're supporting modding. We're supporting it for the community. We just want to make sure the people that paid to make it happen get reimbursed for that. So I do understand why there's a lot of what comes with socialism that's like, that's great. My issue is, inevitably speaking, the only way for communism to work is for everybody to get on board and for everybody to believe the same thing. And that is sort of a social justice warriors playground. And the minority inevitably tramples over the minority. If, like, again, if there was a small group of people who really liked, what's that train simulator game or whatever it is, that basically has a small number of people that really, really like it, that could not exist in a communist structure. And one of the great things about it is that it does exist and it's found an audience and people pay for it. Okay. Um, what did Indiegogo say? They've said nothing. As I said, they're probably unaware of it. As I said, I do. For if Indiegogo is listening, we do not. We would wish for you not to be part of the dynamic, and we're sorry this happened. Do you honestly think a man who did the same as Zoe would be getting high fives, or was that hyperbole? I honestly feel that from their group of friends, they would actually be seen positively, and there would be a lot more. There would be people speaking positively about about basically being able to have sex with people in power and the implication that they were able to do that to get an advantage. I honestly think that would happen. I don't actually think that society would be able to like judge the man, like would have a lot of problem judging the man for being wrong, because it is. I'm not saying it isn't wrong. I'm just saying there's zero narrative for that. There's like reporters would basically have to start from scratch and come up with an entire new narrative. And it's not that I don't think it's wrong, and I don't not that I think there wouldn't be a lot of criticism. There would be a lot of criticism and it would all be valid. It's just I don't think there'd be a narrative. Um Thoughts on angry British midgets? There's probably one that you're specifically talking about. I don't know. It's in the sin axis. Like, yeah, we that's the thing. We can. I want to make sure they didn't like. I didn't log out of Indiegogo. It was still up, so I just initiated a password reset and then gave an extra long one, so I can still like I could put the campaign re up the campaign. I don't want to do that because then we'd have two campaigns if we can get the old one up. As I said, I don't know what the fuck is going on. It's awesome that they managed to delete it. Like serious hacking going on, and like again, those who had not been named. Like the serious hacking that's going on, maybe it's a good evidence that it's probably not the normal social justice warrior crowd that did it. Do you think Bayonetta is a positive female character? I'm actually going to say, uh, everyone, this will get be repeated. I actually don't think that Bayonetta is a negative character. I think she has both positive and negative influences, but I think the problem is that it's all context and nothing in context, nothing out of context with Bayonetta's appearance, how she fights with the world. It's not like there's one scene where she goes naked and then attacks a person with her hair. It's every scene throughout the game. Every scene is like at that level. So the context of what she is perfect. And it's consistent. I would be like if sort of one of the criticisms I have is for like it's not often for games to like focus on there being one sex scene or like one scene that where the characters are eroticized and it just doesn't fit the concept of the rest of the game. That I would criticize. If you can't justify the character, then it's fine. But I think Anthony Birch is his name, and he did the Moxie or whatever her name was from Borderlands. Uh, I'm going to give you it, like you just pass the level. I think he spent a lot of good amount of time justifying that character, doing it in context, and the world that he created allowed for that character to exist. But I think that if you want to do a character like that, you should take the steps that he did to introduce her to the world. Yes, Bayonetta is a fantastic role model for young women to strive towards. If you were to get everything, if you were to do everything all over again, would you get V involved in the project? I'm gonna say this specifically. Um, there are many people that are part of V. Some people agree with me. Some people don't. The people that agree with me now have the majority of their friends in V publicly agreeing with me. I think part of the problems with social justice warriors is they have such a small circle that when a guy says like I like women to make games, do you immediately attach them with a person whose like objectives are completely different than yours? So to answer your question, I think that like what's been going on with the has been like actively true activism, that we're actually changing opinions not only in V but how other people do V, and that's more important than the project. Like again, I know Indiegogo will put the site back up. Let's not pretend it won't. But I do feel that that conversation is more important. And if we still give a fuck about the t-shirt, that's why we did the t-shirt. Yeah, social justice version now pro friends. This quote mining is amazing. Uh, how we with the winner, the ghost step, nobody's won, and things are constantly changing. Voting is still important. Eventually, though, we will declare a winner. Have we spoken to them? Some of them have spoken to me about it. I don't particularly want to bring it up, and as I've said before, if they want to contact me, I will talk about it, but I don't really want them to give an opinion until the project ends. Inevitably speaking, how women are viewed in the industry is very complicated, and not all of them may be the perfectly spoken, uh, statuesque model that you have imagined them to be. Many of them may just want to be a coder in a back room that this is their only touch of actually touching with media. Why are most indie developers men? We because we incentivize men to take more risks. When boys are younger, we allow them to take more risks than women. When they're men, there's more achievements socially. So if a woman was to make the bet, like Phil Fish is totally getting laid over Fez. Um, that is 100% true. Uh, uh, like he arguably had groupies over that. That was a lot of risk, that was a lot of fame, and that was for a video game. My issue is literally speaking, if a woman made an indie game, or if a women had huge boobs, even in the video game community, number two would be far more important for her finding a sexual partner, and arguably speaking, for finding a relationship partner as well. So one of the reasons why you don't see women taking these risks and these high risk situations that have a high gain is that even if they succeed socially, they don't receive the same rewards. Whereas a man would not only receive financial rewards, but would receive social rewards. I didn't know that Phil Fish was married. If he is, then all I can really do is, as I just told everyone, the entire internet, that women like to have sex with, Phil Fish, which, is more or less a positive thing in the social dynamic of society today. Yeah, does any do we worry that like at some point V or B or any of the 4chan will turn on us? Yes, we do, but the reason is that inevitably it's the individuals that gave us money that we have to listen to. It's not the board. And the crucial point here is that we feel that the people that gave us money actually believe in the project. Us talking about V, I didn't realize it till like today, but all this talk about V may be changing the social makeup of the board, and to me, that is sort of an issue. Someone is hacking my Steam account now? Awesome. Let me check though. Let me check. Let me check. Oh, no, no, no. I'm not playing the game. Uh, that I'm not playing the games, thankfully. Uh, yes, yes, great, 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 great. Now, all of those compliments I gave to Phil Fisher didn't. Have you played Super Princess Peach? What did you think about it? I think Super Princess Peach, Nintendo should do. That was not an in-house game. That was done as an out game that was done out of house as a white label property. I felt that Peach actually deserves her own game, and I'd like it to be a little bit better. I didn't think it was a bad game. I just didn't think it was a game that character deserved. I think that Peach had a lot of women really like Peach, but more than that, a lot of men really like that character as well. Attracting a lot of attention on poll. Okay, like again, the number one criticism of that the social justice warriors have is not what I'm doing, but that I should shut up about it. I don't think Poll should become a social justice warrior group. So if they're complaining about me saying and want me to stop, then maybe they'll learn about it. Name bad female figure in modern gaming and your opinion of it. There was a game that it was like Girl Fight or something like that, that was entirely based upon the sexualization of the characters and like they fought. I think that is the most obvious example. Like that's there. Um, I think that like Laura Croft, how she started, how she moved, how she came back, and like and what they're doing with now has dynamics where it got better, it got worse, it got better, it got worse, and it got better again. I feel that when they like when magazines use a female protagonist like as like a pinup thing, I feel a little bit conflicted with that for just this reason. In that, if it's a woman doing it, then she controls her own body and she has, like, she is making that objective. And if she is not coerced, then I feel that she can not only be empowered from that, but I feel that decision is right. For a character that can't exist, like anything can be coerced. And it's just that it's very difficult to separate, is this person being sexualized merely to have people like buy the game or not. um but it's kind of, it gets like annoying when I'm looking at Saints Row, and it's like Saints Row is really, you can play any character you want and everything is outrageous. Like, I actually like thought Saints Row 2 was actually a really good narrative for like everything they did, and I played the game as a female character and I thought that was great. A lot of the games that I have criticism with, like in GTA, um, in I think it was GTA 3, there's the girl that saves you that kind of becomes a fetish girl for the Japanese one. That's the whole thing. She isn't like, I don't remember her name. I just remember basically what happened. Her entire point seemed to be dominated to say stupid things and to be sexualized. And I'm like, yeah, that's in the genre of GTA. And like, that's not all surprising, but I would ask, if I was to make GTA and if I was to say you wanted to make it more inclusive, make that character have a story. While in GTA San Andreas, I think it's GTA San Andreas, there's the fat Latino girl who's a gangster. I thought she was kind of a cool character. I don't know why people. I think GTA has a ton of good characters and a ton of bad characters of both genders, and I think that just people like to simplify the argument. No, it's not that there should. Okay, first of all, sexualizing a character is never bad. So he asked, is it bad to have some sexualized characters, some games, as long as the balance of good in characters? I think it's fine if you justify the sexualization of the characters or if it's a consistent theme. So, like, again, Mad Moxie from Borderlands, like, or